Every time you see a soldier reunite with his family, you know they feel relief. They made it home. They survived war. But the truth is, even some veterans who make it back don't survive the war. You have probably seen the stat. The VA says more than 20 American veterans a day commit suicide. And then there are other combat vets whose death certificates don't say suicide, but who clearly lost their life to the invisible wounds of war. Vets like Taylor from Naples.
When they were teenagers, Kylie fell in love with Taylor's devilish grin.
His smile was the very first thing that drew me to him.
The boy she met at a Naples church.
He had the most handsome smile.
Didn't say much.
But when he did, and when he would smile, it was like the world stopped for me, and he melted me every time.
Taylor Hayes' smile had been there in pictures since he was a kid. Joyful, playful, a little sneaky sometimes too. But this story is not all smiles. In fact, it's a story of how pictures change and smiles sometimes vanish. We'll start Taylor's story Thanksgiving Day 2008, when Taylor dropped a bombshell announcement on his mom, Kim, as she cooked turkey dinner.
Wasn't wavering at all and said, "Mom, I'm going to enlist in the Army." My first thought was, where did that come from?
She realized later her teenage son with the surfer haircut was just trying to find his purpose in life.
He was resolute.
Absolutely.
Just like that, the long hair was gone, replaced with a standard military crew cut. Taylor would deploy for Afghanistan almost immediately, but not before a whirlwind romance with Kylie. In a matter of weeks, they got engaged, they got married, they got pregnant. But look at how she looks at him. They were in love. And look at Taylor, too. Kid's 18 and grinning from ear to ear. It's amazing, though, how quickly war can age you. In Afghanistan, Taylor the boy disappeared, and his smile vanished. Taylor's dad, Steve, says over there, death was all around him.
He saw the horror of war.
Yeah, he did. And he talked about, putting a guy's insides back in his stomach and putting him on the helicopter.
The worst came on Thanksgiving 2009. A suicide attacker detonated a truck bomb 30 yards from where Taylor was sleeping. This was all that was left of the car. Soldiers heard the IED blast miles away. It split ceilings and killed two of Taylor's fellow soldiers, John Cleaver and Daniel Frazier.
They not only had to pick up the pieces of their buddies, but he also had to pick up the pieces of the suicide bomber.
Some of his buddies never made it back, but Taylor survived, returned home a hero, a new husband, a new father.
That's my boy!
Yet he said something that first night home that his father will never forget.
He just looked at me and he said, "Dad, I feel so old." And he was 19.
Things would never be the same. See, Taylor had left Afghanistan, but Afghanistan had never left him. Soon, the boy who seemed so joyful and playful in pictures was now described with very different adjectives.
Distant, he was very distant, very angry. He'd always be tense. It never seemed like he could ever relax.
Taylor was starting to show signs of post-traumatic stress, anger, depression, mental health problems triggered by combat. And you actually see it in the pictures. His smile begins to fade away. What you can't see is the drinking start.
Taylor began self-medicating the pain and the darkness that he felt while neglecting his new wife and daughter, who he lived with outside Fort Bragg, North Carolina. They were invisible wounds of war, and they came to a head one Friday night.
We had one car at the time, so he took that. I was home with our daughter, who was a little over a year at that point, and he was gone all weekend. He wouldn't answer his phone. I had no idea where he was.
She didn't have any more food, bottle for Tori, and didn't know what to do.
And that was kind of my breaking point of, all right, you obviously don't want to do this and you need some help.
He never got it. There would be glimmers of better days. Taylor and Kylie moved to Naples. They had their second daughter. They tried to make it work. And there were occasional grins that turned up in the photos. But to his loved ones, Taylor seemed so far away. Yet his inner turmoil was always right there.
You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved, and you can't help someone who's not willing to be helped.
Taylor's life spiraled out of control. Near the end, he was basically living on the streets, self-medicating with booze and pills and drugs. His behavior grew stranger and stranger, and at times his own mother barely recognized him.
It wasn't my kid. It wasn't my kid.
I would look at him and you didn't see anything.
Almost like I know you're in there somewhere.
I know you're in there. I know you're in there.
But if they didn't find him, they knew tragedy was coming.
Because we know where this ends. It either ends at the cemetery or ends up in jail.
It wasn't jail. It ended in Section 5, Site 1320 of Sarasota National Cemetery. It ended on August 1st, 2016. It ended with a phone call.
They were screaming, saying, "He's gone, he's gone." They've taken him to the hospital, but he's gone.
She said, "Taylor's gone." And never in my life have I ever had a moment like that. I fell to my knees and was bawling, and I couldn't get myself to get up.
Now, not only was the smile gone, Taylor was gone too. Doctors initially said Taylor died from an accidental drug overdose. But Kim and Kylie know different.
Right there.
They're certain the son and husband honored with this brick at Freedom Park in Naples is really a casualty of war.
I love you too.
A battle that first took his smile and then his life.
I miss my boy. I miss my boy.
Kim Hayes now works with the group American Gold Star Mothers, trying to get veterans and their families the help they need, and many do need it. The VA estimates as many as 1 in 5 soldiers who fought in either Iraq or Afghanistan suffer from post-traumatic stress.
What do these guys need that they're not getting?
Hope. They need hope.
We hope this helps. ABC7 put together a list of resources in Southwest Florida to help our veterans returning home. It's up on our website tonight. Click Get More. It's also on the ABC7 News app. Coming up at 7, find out what the government is and is not doing for our veterans in need.